The MG Windsor EV is perhaps the most unconventional launch of 2024. But armed with some very competitive pricing and MG's cutting-edge tech, does it have what it takes to give its rivals some sleepless nights? Let's find out. Towards the front, you won't mistake the Windsor for anything else on the road, as it has this very distinctive dual step-like bonnet. Don't get me wrong, but it reminds me of the Fiat Multipla. Then you have this full-width LED light bar, and it does this really cool animation, and the MG logo illuminates when you lock or unlock the car. You have the headlights set lower down in the bumper, along with this chrome strip, which looks pretty unique. Towards the side, you get these 5-spoke 18-inch rims, and they fill out the wheel arches really nicely and don't give the Windsor an awkward stance. From the side, you notice that the overall design theme on the Windsor is very rounded off and soft, no sharp edges and no sharp angles. Flush door handles, which is a beautiful touch, and these chrome trims that you see on the side is an optional extra which you get at your MG dealership. Towards the back, again, the very curved off design theme along with a similar light bar running across the rear, bold Windsor text, and an EV badge towards the left. Boot space on the Windsor EV is incredibly impressive. I mean, look at this space. One thing to keep in mind though is the top spec variant gets a slightly lower boot space because of the subwoofer that's located in the boot. Now we are in the interior of the MG Windsor EV, and if you thought the exterior was unconventional, welcome to the interior. Taking center stage, quite literally, is this huge 15.6-inch touchscreen infotainment system, and pretty much the controls of the entire car are embedded into this. Now coming to the functionality of the touchscreen, it has everything that you need, but responsiveness is not the best, and considering it's so touchscreen heavy, responsiveness could have been a little better. Let's start off with these seats, which look more like lounge chairs than car seats. They are very comfortable and under-thigh support is good. Coming to the steering wheel, it is a very minimalistic 2-spoke design with only 2 controls towards the side. You get a fully digital instrument cluster with all the required information on it. However, if you're in bright sunlight, the small text might be a little difficult to read. Basically, your only physical controls in the entire interior are the aircon controls located lower down here, which I think is a good move. Aircon controls as physical buttons is a must. Windsor EV also gets some pretty cool ambient lighting, which goes through a cyclic mode. Coming to the practicality on offer, MG deserves a special mention. They've made the best use of the Windsor being an EV. So you have this huge storage space lower down with the C-type port, A-type port, then these 3 cup holders up here with this floating design which I find pretty cool, wireless phone charger along with another space, and a pretty large center console with storage. Coming to the materials and quality, MG has always been pretty good at this. Almost everything you touch is soft leather or wood veneer. Only lower down it is like hard plastic, but it's not an area you touch too often. Now we are in the backseat of the MG Windsor EV, which is quite impressive. So let's start with the overall space. Knee room is absolutely plenty, there's no issue at all. Headroom, I've got quite a few inches left. If the sunroof was closed, maybe slightly lesser, but even 6-footers shouldn't have a problem. Coming to the seats themselves, I'd say they are pretty comfortable. However, there are some reviews which say after 4 or 5 hours, they do tend to get a little uncomfortable for your back. I don't know for sure, but for short journeys, I can assure you that they are very nice. You get a center armrest with 2 cup holders and adjustable headrests for all the 3 rear passengers. Under-thigh support is slightly lacking, I would have liked more, but nothing too bad. So obviously no transmission tunnel, which means the middle passenger gets a very comfortable space for their feet. Now there are some ergonomic issues, like the aircon vent, you get only one of them, which I don't know if it will be sufficient for all the 3 passengers. Also, only one USB-C type port. For such a tech-heavy car, 2 is a must, or at least a 12-volt socket. Let's talk about this door panel for a bit. So I feel it's very beautifully done with these bronze accents and the speaker which is very beautifully integrated into the door. Now coming to the party trick on the Windsor EV, the rear seat gets a 130-degree recline angle, which is something we've never heard of in this price segment. And after a tiring day of work, this is exactly what you'd want. Bravo!
The Windsor EV gets a 38 kWh battery pack along with an electric motor that produces 136 horsepower and 200 Nm of torque. You can have a look at the charging times on your screen right now. Another talking point was the BAAS scheme, which stands for Battery as a Service. It's essentially a scheme where you pay a price of Rs 9.99 lakh upfront for the car and then Rs 3.5 for every kilometer that you drive. It's a loan scheme with 4 selected finance partners and it's still being put in place, so for additional information, it would be best you visit your local MG dealership. On that note, I would also like to thank Priority MG Goa and their very courteous staff for letting us film this video. Their contact details are in the description below.
The price of the Windsor EV ranges from 13.49 to 15.49 lakh rupees ex-showroom India, and the price difference between each variant is exactly 1 lakh rupees. So I feel the three variants are very easy to understand and it'll be easy for customers to pick the right choice. My final verdict. The MG Windsor EV is definitely an interesting proposition. It's packed to the gills with tech. Space on the inside is quite impressive, and while styling may not be to everyone's tastes, it will definitely stand out on the road. Also, automakers experimenting with their products is the only way the industry moves forward, and MG deserves some credit for that. So until then, if you're looking for a spacious, tech-laden crossover, the Windsor definitely should be amongst your top contenders. If you like this video, please don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell icon to never miss any of my new uploads. Now looking at the Windsor from Windsor. Boot space on the Windsor. Now coming to the seat itself, it is pretty comfortable. However, 130-degree recline, which is something you've never heard of in this price segment. And after tiring retail.